I guess I'm live. Hello, everyone. Just to check to see. Yeah. Louisa, you're good? Yeah. Thumbs up. So I am checking to see because I'm filming from my home this time. But I think you can hear me. Oh, hello, hello. Good to see you, everyone. Yay. Nice that you can join me on this webinar about the water element, the water energy. Yay. Just to see. Great. Do you hear me all well? I guess so. Good that you're here. So, the water energy, I wanted to explain a little bit first about what is the elemental energy of water and then how Chinese medicine looks at this, and then go over the meridians that are connected to the water element, which are the kidneys and the urinary bladder, and then where they flow in your body. So I have my acupuncture jaw with me, and then some specific points that you can use when you are doing, for example, your yin practice, and you want to stimulate those points specifically to actually boost a bit your kidney and urinary bladder energy. So, first of all, Chinese medicine looks at the world as being consisting out of yin and yang energy, but that it is not just black and white. It goes in phases from one phase to another. So sometimes energy can be a bit of a combination of yin and yang, and sometimes it can be a combination of more yang and more yin. Think of springtime that we're going towards right now, coming from the winter, that has a little bit more youngish aspect in it. But winter being being the full yin element, so to say. So they call the yin element or the water element the yin quality it has. When we go towards the spring, more yang energy comes into it. You see it in nature, you feel it in your system, as opposed to what you feel in during wintertime. So in wintertime, this is a time, as it is a yin energy, it is a time of restoring, of resting, of digesting what has happened throughout the year. So that is a nice metaphor, actually, because also at the end of the year, we start to think about, hey, what has happened this past year, and do I have any new resolutions? This is a time of introspection and to really go inside. Nature does it, but we, in the way our life is going in general right now, we tend to go on and on and on and on, and not take the rest that we need actually to be able to replenish our own energy. So more rest is needed in this time, as it is a time of resting and digesting what has happened. So why we want to rest is important, because then you will have enough energy replenished to be able to start again in freeze. Oh, in springtime. I just continue because I see myself still moving. So, oh, okay. So, it is during this winter time that we want to rest and digest, as I was saying. So you want to recharge your energy. And if you look around in nature, that's what nature does as well. And it is also the foundation of rebirth. So, and the foundation of life itself. Think of, for example, a seed that you have and you plant it in the earth, and then you take care of it with water and sunlight, and then it starts to grow under good circumstances. But it is in this seed where the essence of life is. And that is also a representation of the energy of water, because it is this yin essence that allows you to grow. So, for our purposes as well, it is going back to your deepest connection with yourself, with going in and connect with your wisdom that is coming from not the mind, but coming from the soul, from an inner knowing. So, in this introspection and meditative time, you can actually replenish your batteries, which are the kidneys, basically. And in the Chinese medicine, the kidneys are seen also as the Jing energy, where the Jing comes from. So the Jing is seen as this essential energy that you get either from your parents, so that is prenatal, and postnatal is the energy you live with. And that was what I was referring to before. So the prenatal energy is kind of like your saving account. You can see it like that. And you don't want to touch that energy. We want to touch the checking account, the energy that you get from food or drinks or activities that you do, practices that you do to replenish your energy all the time. So if you look at yourself during the day, when you've rested a night very well and you slept well, then the morning you are have enough energy to get up and to do the things that you need to do. You feel full of energy. Then towards midday or noon, somewhat, you reach the peak of your energy. And then throughout the day, you feel that your energy becomes lower and lower. And actually, around this time, this is the water time, actually, your energy starts to become lower. And it is time already to start to slow down and to prepare for the night again. So, what you do throughout the day in Chinese medicine, they say, okay, if you take care well of your balance, so meaning what you're able to do and what not, and deciding what to do and what not, then you are in balance. But if you go past your level of energy that you have, so you do more than you can do, or you think it has to do with also with willpower, the water energy. So if your willpower is too strong because you want to get something done, or you work through the night and you're like, okay, I want to get this done, so it's finished. But then you're actually depleting your energy because you use up more than you have. So if you have done a practice or you've eaten well and you have taken your rest enough, then you don't touch that checking account that I was talking about. You start to use up your checking account and then you take from your saving account. If you do that a lot, then, for example, what we see in society is that you have a burnout because you have used your energy with yang energy. So this being the yang energy, and you haven't taken a step back to replenish, but you've been taking, and then at some point your body says, "Stop. I cannot do it anymore." So if you don't listen to the signs, eventually your body will tell you to stop, and then you are in the middle of a burnout. And for those maybe who have had it, you know that it takes a very long time to regain your energy because you have to replenish your saving checking account again for you to be able to do the things that you want to do. So there is a quite a balance about water energy. It is about strength and endurance and about willpower, like the force of water, like it can crush through everything. But it is also this vulnerable, soft, and gentle energy, actually, what is there when you are truly connected with yourself and when you're connected to your own wisdom, knowing what is good for you and what is not good for you, not from the mind again, but really in connection with what it is that you feel. So, those are very important aspects of the water energy. So, it is an invitation to listen, to go inside, and to heal and replenish yourself because you take rest and because you stop doing. If you don't do that and you use your willpower too much, then you will deplete the water energy. And symptoms that you can have that will tell you, hey, my water energy is out of balance, is, for example, tiredness or fear. And not fear in the sense of, oh, you're afraid all the time, but it also lies in fear, for example, that you look up to do something. You need to do a presentation and you actually don't feel like it. What is behind there can be that you lack the energy to do so. So it manifests, it lets you know in a way like that you fear, that you're fearful to do something, or you lack the willpower for something. And physically, you can have, for example, blue bags under your eyes. You can feel that you don't have the energy. Sometimes back pain can be really the cause because the meridians actually go besides those areas. So most of the time, physical manifestations of your water energy being out of balance are along the pathways of the meridians. So I hope I've said everything. It was about the Jing. Oh, yes. And it is also about reproductive organs, because, of course, that's where the seed of reproduction is. So if your water energy is strong, then fertility problems, for example, is not the case. And if it is out of balance, then it can be that you have some fertility problems there. It can be that, or that you lack libido, for example. Yeah, so these are all expressions of lacking water energy. We have that inside us, and it's on a macro level palpable, but on a micro level also during wintertime. You feel like you need to take more rest. You need to sleep more. You need to eat well to be able to take care of those kidneys and this water energy inside you. So what can you do? But before I go into that, I wanted to show you the pathways. So this is an acupuncture doll, and you see the primary meridians displayed on the doll, and also the points are referring to the acupuncture dots. Um, but when we do yin, we need to focus on a little bit broader area. But first, to kind of know for you where the kidney meridian is and the urinary bladder is, I wanted to show you that on the doll so you have an idea. So the urinary bladder actually starts here, the superficial meridian, because they're also internally making connections, but they're not visible on this doll. And the acupuncture points are also on the external meridians, and they call them the primary meridians. So they start in the inner corner of the eye, then it goes left and right over the head. So you cannot see that very well here. But then just below the skull, it splits. So zooming in a bit. So you see this line over here, and then it splits in two. So just below the skull, it splits into two branches. And then you see here several points going all the way down, and then over the buttock, up and down. And then it goes over the buttock, the back of the leg, so your hamstrings and your calf muscles. So if you have tensions there, that is also a manifestation of your water energy being out of balance. And then it goes over the foot to the small toe. The kidney meridian starts below the foot. So it is depicted here, but I can show you also on my foot because that's better visible. And I'm wearing socks because that is very important point. Oh, actually, the little black um, thingy for my sock was right at the kidney 1 point. So you have a dent just below the base of your toes, so to say, and there's a dent there in the middle of your foot, and you can gently press it, and sometimes it can be sore if your water energy is low. If it's imbalanced, you can press it and then there is no pain there. So that's where the kidney meridian starts. And then it goes behind the ankle bone. And like I said, it is also has to do with your reproductive organs, especially massaging the inner part of your ankle is really great if you, for example, have menstrual problems. And it can be very relaxing to stimulate that area. And then going into the back of the calf muscle, it stays towards the back of the leg. And then so hamstrings again and calf muscle. And then it enters here at the perineum, and it surfaces just above the pubic bone and then goes all the way up and then ends just below your clavicle on either side of the sternum. So those are the primary pathways of the urinary bladder and the kidney. Ah, yeah, a good nice thing to mention is kidney 1, and as it is in connection with the floor, and in Chinese medicine they also say always wear warm socks to keep the feet warm so that the coldness cannot enter your kidney, your body. Yeah, because kidney 1 is in connection with the floor. So if you like to walk on bare feet, but keep your socks on in wintertime so that the cold cannot enter, because cold is attacking actually your water energy, bringing it out of balance. So also keeping your lower back warm with a blanket or a sweater or warm clothes is very important to maintain the water energy. Likewise with food, warm foods, not cold drinks or cold or fruits that create coldness in the body. So, like your grandmother, my grandmother made, for example, broken bone soup. It is in the bone also where the essence of Jing is. So, when you break the bones and then let it simmer for some time and then drink that, that is also uplifting for the water energy. If you're a vegetarian, then don't do that. But in Chinese medicine, they don't have a vegetarian diet. So that's why they say in the bone marrow of the bones, that is actually the essence of Jing. So having set the primary meridians where they are, so when we do our yin practice, you also have broader areas which are called myofascia meridians, which I talk about in the yin meridian teacher training on Eckhart Academy. But you have broader areas. So when we do poses to stimulate the water energy, and I already mentioned it a bit, is that we want to feel, for example, the back of our legs, so the hamstrings, the calf muscles, and then going up into the bum area, around the sacrum, and then all the muscles and the fascia surrounding the spine from all the way up to the neck and even over the head. So if you have a lot of stress in your life, also there might be a lot of tension in the backside of your body. And that is the pathway of the urinary bladder. And the urinary bladder is also intimately connected to the brain. So if you are very stressed out, the brain being stressed out and is reflected into the whole body. So when you do, for example, a forward bend, any forward bend, in which you feel your hamstrings, your calf muscle in the back body, and you let go of the head, then you actually turn on your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest system, so to help you calm down. So hence forward bendings are very calming and soothing and actually replenishing your water energy. And then for the kidney, well, the kidney starts in the foot and is also at the back of the leg, but then the front of the body as well. So the kidneys are located, the organ is located just below the ribs on the back. And then when you do a back bend, you create pressure onto the organs and you open the meridians on the surface on the front of the torso. So there in a backward bend, you also stimulate the urinary bladder through compression, the kidneys, the organs themselves through compression as well, and you stimulate it through opening the kidney meridian on the front of the torso. So basically, forward bends and backward bends, they work the water energy of your body. So any yin pose that does a forward bend or backward bend, you can use to stimulate your water energy. So I have some poses that I wanted to share with you, and also some acupuncture points that really boost your kidney energy, help your reproductive organs to function well. Also, if you have menstrual problems. And those are located mainly along the spine in the lower back and around the sacrum. Then, of course, if you stimulate kidney one when you're, for example, in butterfly pose, so you could sit like this and then press with your thumbs on both feet in the kidney one while you're bending forward. So in the forward bend here, you're stimulating the urinary bladder through stretching the fascia in which the meridians are embedded, all the way from the sacrum all the way up to the head. And the fascia is connected to everything in the body. So even around the brain, the fascia is um, sheeted around the brain. And the meridians, knowing that the meridians are in the fascia. So the moment you are here and you're allowing yourself to fall forward while you gently press or circle kidney one, try that out and see how that feels. So that is a example. And then also you can either use balls or blocks. So I mentioned already that you need 2 socks and 4 balls. So by putting 2 balls in one sock, and then you bring a knot, but leave some space in between the balls so that you have the liberty to maybe put the balls together or to separate them apart so that you can really well stimulate the points on the back. So there are several points that you can stimulate here. So, for example, bladder 23, which is about this height. So you cannot see maybe, and it's not important, as long as you know that you want to place the balls in the lower back area. So I'm just going to show you how that looks like. So you can use either one sock with 2 balls in it, or you can use two and then you cross them, and then you have 4 balls. And then you can apply them along the spine on either side, so being the spine being in the center. And then you lie down. So this is not really a pose, it's just, well, it is a pose, Shavasana, and you lift your hips up. And basically you feel maybe some soreness happening when you allow the balls to be placed close to the spine or a little bit further away from the spine. Remember, there are 2 branches of the urinary bladder going down the spine on both sides of the spine. So you have to kind of play here and see where it feels like, oh, yeah, that's where I need to be when you relax on top of the balls. So to hold yourself in the position and at the same time relax, you could use, for example, a block underneath your bum so that when you lie down, you don't lose the pressure. Sometimes with straight legs, you diminish the pressure. With bent legs, it's rounding more in the lower back, so you feel more the balls going into the back. And for me, this is instantly relaxing. So then you're doing a good job. Then the balls are placed in the right position. And you want to relax the muscles so that the ball can really penetrate the area where you've placed them. And just like in a yin pose, you stay 5 minutes or longer and really experience the effect of that pressure while you're in a pose. And then the yin pose pontoon, which is with the block under the sacrum. Also the sacrum, there are a lot of acupuncture points there for the same reason, strengthening either the kidney or the reproductive organs. So you can use a block instead of the balls, but you can also lie on the balls to place it under the sacrum. So there's different ways of how you can do that. You can place it horizontally or vertically, as long as it's not compressing with the vertebrae
that stick out from the back, and you can choose different heights. So the pressure should be doable and not sharp and stinging. And then you are draping over the block. So this creates a back bend. So I'm compressing in my lower back right now, which is good for the kidneys and also for the stimulation of the urinary bladder. So you can stimulate the meridians either through stretching or compressing or twisting. It all is embedded in the fascia, remember. So whatever you do to it and then stay with it, that will stimulate the energy of the water here. And then here there is an opening in the front, so kidney meridian on the front is also being stimulated. So now the focus is mainly from the pelvis all the way up, not so much in the legs, but that doesn't matter because now the pressure of the block onto the sacrum also does its work. And then another pose that I wanted to share with you, especially if you suffer from migraines or headaches a lot, or again, if you have a lot of stress and you feel that build up in your head, literally your brain is under tension, then you can use the block and place it on bladder 10, which is this point just below the skull where where one branch splits into two. So put the block a bit diagonal. I hope you can see it. So it's not straight, so that the rim of the block presses into the border just below my skull. And then I relax my head on top of it. I use gravity. And then maybe at first you need to hold the block, but then after some time, feel the confidence and trust to let go and just to lean on top of it. If you need to look for the right location, you can also move the head from left to right. So again, the block needs to stimulate just below the skull. And then you can feel where it's kind of sore. And then choose that area to stay and to allow the pressure of the block to go in there. And you can feel maybe right away this whole line of the meridian. You can feel maybe right away something happening in the inner corners of your eyes, in the brain. And if you don't feel that, that's also okay. So you stay 2, 3, 5 minutes, as long as you need, as long as you feel that that is enough. Another pose that, for example, also stimulates your kidney one is toe squat. So instead of stimulating it with your thumb, you can also do toe squat. Remember, not painful compression on the front, but an opening here on the sole of your foot and at the back of your toes. So there are different variations possible of how you can do this pose to avoid the compression and to feel the opening here. But I think if necessary, I go into the variations if there is a question about that. But for now, I've been talking a lot. I can go on and on about it because there's so much to tell. But I've said enough for now, I think, at least to go by. So if you have any questions, please leave it in the chat. I'm just checking if there were already questions. Nope, not yet. Great, Rose. How frequently should we practice yin yoga in winter? Wow, that is a very personal question. Mm,
like I said before, it depends on your constitution, on your character, on what it is that you need. So there is no rule there. The most important thing is be experimental about it. So because you also still need yang during yin, yin time, winter time, because that creates the heat in your body. If you do too much yin all the time, there is this coldness coming into your body. You also need movement to be able to keep the balance. There is no balance without yang, and there's no balance without yin. You need the both. And how much of each you need, that depends per person. So be experimental about it. Try to practice yin at any time, really. It can be done in the morning, evening, throughout the whole year. Um, and see if you can find a balance that works for you, how much yin and how much yang you need to stay, um, to feel good, basically, to feel healthy, and that your mind stays calm. Because the body has different ways of showing us that something is out of balance. Yeah. So whether it's an emotion, certain thought patterns are triggered, or really physically you feel that there is an ailment coming up. So I hope that answer helped out. Mm. Yeah, Kathy, are all meridians in the fascia? Yes. Basically, everything is embedded in the fascia, everything in within your body. But you should not see meridians as a tube, just like a vein, for example, where through which chi and liquid flows. Fascia is actually the opposite. So, or the meridians are actually the opposite. Chi flows through meridians, but meridians are extensive, like they're countless, not no, countless nadis, for example. The same with meridians. Only here you have the 12 primary meridians connected to the organs, but there are way more meridians, and it's dispersing all over your body. So if you want to know exactly like where the meridians are, I go over into depth in the yin and meridian teacher training. But basically, there are endless connections within the body, and this is where the meridians are. This is where the chi flows, basically. Um, Are there some classes we can follow? Yes, for sure. On Eckhart Yoga, we have various classes that are recorded for the elements. So, about the elements. So, you can follow that. But any class, yin yoga class, where you go forward or backward bending, will work on your water element. In yang classes, the same, because the meridians are in your body anyway. So, any forward or backward bending you do stimulates your water energy. But yin yoga is different because you stay for such a length of time, so the stimulation goes deeper into your system. Whereas the more dynamic practices, it stays more on a superficial level, thinking of the muscular myofascia level. Okay, Rebecca, I'm reading your question. How would you understand the pheromones of when a person who has urinary infection has hallucinations? Wow, no, I cannot say anything about that as I'm not a Chinese doctor. Um, I know enough about Chinese medicine to be able to apply it in yin yoga practices and in my day to day life. But this is such a specific question that I think you would have to go to a Chinese doctor or to an acupuncturist to help you out with that. Sorry, Rebecca. Johamir, when you use acupressure points, do you need to stay still or move a bit? No, like I said, when you can press with your thumb on kidney 1, what we said, or also here, urinary bladder 2, when you do a forward bend, you can also press with your fingers and you lean into your fingers, but you can also gently circle and stimulating that point. So both ways are good. Yes, Dorothy, the tennis ballen, yes, for sure. There are tennis balls inside my socks. So they're not just specific balls, they are tennis balls inside here, and I've put them in the socks. So, but you have different balls available. Sometimes they're also smaller. And I also use, for example, for my hand sometimes, a knicker. I don't know the English word for that, but those are little balls of glass where kids can play with. And they are also great to kind of stimulate. You go over them and to stimulate your hand or your foot or specific areas where you have pain, for example, without knowing what point it is or what it means. Anytime when you feel a pain somewhere, you can always use a ball and actually do acupressure on it and then have a release deeply into your fascia. So that is totally doable. Does it help, Corine de Ruiter, does it help to drink hot tea to boost your water energy, you mean? Well, in general, any warm foods, those are actually during the wintertime because in wintertime, your water energy is, you need to extra take care of your kidneys and your urinary bladder energy. Because due to the surrounding, which normally is very cold outside, this season, the winter season, actually attacks the water energy. So it is the time of water energy where it's the time of rest, digestion, introspection, and meditation. But it is a time that invites you to really take care of your water energy because the surrounding is basically making it harder for that elemental energy to stay strong. So you need to take extra care of your water energy. So yeah, warm tea is good for sure. Okay, Keely. So quite sore. You say toe squat, some variations, please. Well, it depends where you feel the soreness. If you feel it on the front of your toes, to diminish the extension you create in your toes, you can, for example, place a bolster or a pillow, in this case, underneath the knees. You can also lean a bit forward so you have less weight onto your toes. Yeah. You can also, and sometimes that can be very helpful, to just do one leg variation. So here I'm sitting on top of my foot, but that might again be too much weight. You can also not sit on the foot, but kind of allow the foot to go in different directions so that you can play where you want to place the weight to avoid compression, for example, in your big toe on the front. And then when you have found your position, you want to make yourself comfortable so that you can sit in a relaxed way. So I need to kind of feel and play a little bit and then relax with the weight. Yeah. So those are options you can do. If this is still too intense, then standing up and just placing your foot or your toes up against the wall and then allow the base of your foot to go down. That also might help to diminish the pressure on the toes. And then Yadviga, I don't know if I pronounce your name correctly, but oh, um, oh, now I lost you. Uh, oh, there you are. You say that our main energy is in the kidneys. Yes, that's true. So when you are created, the sperm and the egg come together. They have this essence energy that I was talking about when you put a seed in the ground and then you water it and then it grows into something. The same when the sperm cell and the egg cell come together and they carry your DNA, but also the energy of your parents with them. And then they combine together. And then it is actually already set what your basis and basic energy will be like. But then you grow in the womb of your mom. So depending on how your mom takes care of her body, and therefore you, um, how you will evolve. So bone strength, for example, if you have weak bones, easily breakable bones, that also says something about your water energy not being strong enough. So, and also with old age, there's so much to say about it. But also with old age, for example, we are aging, so our body gets drier and our bones get weaker because we are aging. We have used up more and more of our energy, our Jing energy, because we go through life. So then we become weaker. So the water energy becomes weaker over time, also as we age. And then eventually there is no water energy left, and then we die. So um, yeah, the main energy is in the kidney. That's where your Jing is. But of course, all the other organs need energy too. But it is the water energy that is the essence of all the other elements, elemental energies in your body. Jenny, hi. Do you think circulation problems like Raynaud's cold, numb fingers can be helped with these practices? Yes, totally. All, but not specifically the water energy, because all the meridians start or end in the toes and in the fingers. So when you do, for example, finger stretches uh, and toe squats, so finger stretches being this, or a variation of that is this, and really focusing on um, stretching the fingers and the toes. And once you release those poses, they actually enhance the blood circulation into your hands and feet. But that is because then the blood is boosted into the fingers. But then you're not specifically stimulating just the water energy. That's actually all the elements that you're stimulating there. Gila, can you please explain again the points that we can treat with the balls? Okay, so you want the numbers, Gila? So I mentioned the bladder 10 for here below the skull, and that is very helpful for migraines or to release stress from your brain, literally. Then I talked about bladder 23 and 52, which are together, and that is at the height of the lumbar in the lumbar curve area. Likewise, bladder 24 and 25, I've written them down because I don't know them by heart either. And then there are several points of the urinary bladder on the sacrum as well. So, urinary bladder, and then if you look it up on the internet and you see a picture, and then you look for the area of the sacrum and the lower back, that will get you to those points that I just mentioned. And then kidney 1 being the point underneath the foot. So, any point you can treat with the balls, but specifically the ones on the spine, they're very useful for your water energy. So you can place them along the spine and especially in the lower back, and that will replenish your kidney energy. But higher up the spine, actually, it stimulates all kinds of organs the way you go up. So the spleen, the stomach, the lungs, as you go up, those organs are more, and the gallbladder and the liver are more targeted. Manuela, can we increase the basic genetic energy when we use it too much? No. When you used up your saving account, so to say, then it's gone. Um, so, what you want to really take care of is you want to take care of your basic energy, and then you want to use the energy that you have taken in or created with, for example, practices like meditation, yoga, other exercises that are not depleting you. Also, you want to use the energy of the food that you take in. So, good foods like not too much coffee, not too much alcohol. Sometimes, if your water energy is low, they actually advise you not to take any caffeine or no alcohol, no pre created or no pre fabricated foods, fresh foods, what we all know, the good stuff. Yeah, the fresh foods, and that is all good. But then for the kidney energy, they advise you to cook it, to eat it warm. So warm meals 3 times a day during winter would be advisable. Mm, thank you, Cindy. um, I'm just checking if there are any more questions. Christiana, in winter, waking up in the morning, I feel my kidneys are hurting. Only in winter. Is this connected to the lack of water element after morning practices? No problem at all. Yes. So, but it can also be something very simple that maybe you have to look at your mattress. But you're saying that especially in the morning in wintertime, you feel that your kidneys are hurting. So maybe try things like keeping your kidneys warm during the night, like using oh, I don't know the word in English. And kruik is in Dutch. I don't know if you can help me, Louise, with the name of kruik, but you can put hot water in it and then you put it on your back to keep your back warm during the night. So that might help. And also maybe do 1 or 2 poses before you go to sleep that specifically work on that area. So you can choose to do a back bend and then a forward bend and then go to sleep. But you have to be experimental about it to see, okay, what is the best for me in this situation? Do you just need to do a back bend? That feels better, then do that. But you need to experiment first to see and find out what works for you. You're welcome. Phenomenon. Yeah, Rebecca. I hope I answered your question already. Rachel, does the meridian system bear resemblance to the pranic system and the nadis, or are the principles different? Yes, they look like each other. So the Indian yogis talk about nadis and prana, and the Chinese Taoist yogis they talk about chi and meridians. So yeah, it is very similar. But the thing is, with the Indian yogis, they didn't really map the nadis out so specifically where they are, whereas the Taoist yogis did, and they actually based this whole health system on it, acupuncture and needling those points. So, but chi is prana and prana is chi. Meridians are nadis, nadis are meridians. So, yeah. Mm. Any book recommendations? Yeah. Oof, there are so many. The Web That Has No Weaver from that's a difficult name, Kapchuknik. Well, the title and you will find it. The Web That Has No Weaver. The Spark in the Machine is another book that is really great. Um, Actually, the water crystals from um, Emoto really talks about water a lot, but actually fascia or we are existing out of water. So that is a really nice book also. Um, yeah. And then, Sandra, is there a website or video I can look at that talks about the origin of yin? Well, the origin of yin is actually very old. It comes from the Taoist yogis. Yeah. And then also the Hatha yogis basically stayed in poses for a longer period of time. So it is Hatha yoga that we are doing, but we called it yin at some point. Well, not we. Paul Grilly, actually, Sarah Powers did it. But Paul Grilly, who practiced with Polly Zink, and he was a martial arts practitioner and teacher, and Paul Grilly took some classes with him, and then he started to practice the poses in a yin way, and then it was not called yin yet. And that was given by Sarah Powers, who practiced with Paul Grilly and who gave the name. So that's where it originally comes from. But if you read old yoga texts, they don't talk about yoga poses going from one to the next. They actually talk about staying in the pose for some time. So you could say that it is hatha yoga. Everything is in the end hatha yoga. But now to specify the style, it has the name yin. But it comes from very far background. Marbles, yes, that was the word. Thank you. Uh, so I'm happy to hear that, Samantha. Teresa, I have a nerve question mark pain in my neck. How can I help that, please, with this method you suggest here? You mean the one with the block, I think. If it's a nerve, I would really check it out with a doctor to see if it's wise to place compression there, because normally to place compression onto a nerve is not a good thing. So I think you should really check it out first with a therapist or a doctor to see what is going on, and then I might help you with give you a suggestion. But also forward bends actually release this area just below the neck, so that might already be sufficient. Um, but yeah, check it out first before you do things that later on end up being more hurtful than helpful. Yeah. Oh, Ruben. Yes, we are offering a discount for 48 hours. So after this webinar, you get all the information sent to you, and 20% will be off of the Yin and Meridian course and also the Yin and Anatomy course. Um, and there you can also purchase the bundle, which is both courses for the price of one, and that has 15% off. And also, if you are interested in obtaining a 200-hour Yin Yoga certificate, I am offering this year a 200-hour online teacher training in which those two courses are embedded. So if you are interested, please let me know, or otherwise Eckhart Yoga, and they will give you the details. Oh, and oh no, I lost it. Well, Christiana, will you have a live Yin Tea in the Netherlands in 2022? No, I will have a live retreat teacher training, Yin retreat teacher training, starting in January 2023. So not yet. It's coming up soon on my website. And then Bay, how do we feel lack of water element? Why there is a headache before menstrual cycle? How can we help ourselves? Yeah, so those are symptoms you're talking about. There are different headaches in Chinese medicine. So the one that is covering over the head, that is a water element headache. If it's here in the front, that's more an earth element headache. If it's on the side, that's more a wood element headache. So depending where your headache is, will tell you what element is out of balance. So the headache is just a manifestation of the body telling you that certain element is out of balance. And how can you help yourself? Well, depending, and you're saying just before the menstrual cycle, so that tells me more that it's more PMS like headache, and that it actually kind of builds up the headache just before the menstruation. And that is more gallbladder and liver. So, stimulating the gallbladder and liver meridians that are on different parts of the body. So, the more the lateral sides, and also here there's gallbladder 20. That is also a point that you can stimulate to alleviate the pressure going to your head. So, menstrual cycle, that is more wood energy. But fertility problems, that is more water energy. So, it's a different thing. And how can you help yourself? Well, then you have to do more practices that stimulate the gallbladder and liver energy. And actually, if you are in the phase just before, I have a talk on it on Eckhart Yoga about the cycles in the female cycle and what practices to do when. I don't remember now the title of it, but maybe Kirsty or um, somebody from Eckhart can help me out with that. Oh, yeah, Chris, kun je de sokballen, can you use the balls also in the neck? Yeah, it is less hard, that's correct, but the balls can sometimes slip away. So you can use that for sure if that works out for you. Also, I use now a cork block, but you also have softer blocks, more gummy blocks, and they might be more gentle with the pressure. Or you can cover your block with a blanket, and then it becomes softer as well. You can also use your own thumb or ask a partner or a friend to press with the thumbs in there while you are relaxing with the head back. Oh, hot water bottle. Yeah, hot water bottle. Yeah, warm water bottle. Thank you. Of kersenpitje, blijft langer warm. Correct, Chris. What are the best poses or points of stimulation to give the kidneys to ease menopause symptoms or water retention? That is something different. Water retention, it is more earth energy. And menopause symptoms are depending what the symptoms are, but it is more fire energy. So, yeah, poses that stimulate your stomach and spleen meridian, like saddle, for example, opening up the front body and the front of the thighs. Thanks, Sharon. That you. It was not intentional. No. The flowers. No, I just like the flowers. So probably that's why I bought the wallpaper and the shirt. Ruben, I'm getting my periods regularly for the past 6 months. My scan shows that my uterus is lining a bit thick. Can you suggest any asanas? Oh, this is very specific, Ruben. Maybe contact me so that we can chat more about it into details because now I need a bit more information to be able to give you any information on that. Liana, is the exhaustion of the adrenal glands related to the kidneys and therefore a lack of water energy? Yes, it is connected to the kidneys. So basically, you need to recharge your water energy. So take it easy, eat well, sleep well, take rest, and do yin practices like meditation, pranayama, deep breaths, or natural breaths, or nadi shodhana to balance out your energies. You're welcome, Alicia. Okay. Teresa, what causes sorenesses in the eyes? Well, that also depends. Um, I need a little bit more information to be able to answer that question. And here, Wieger, would you recommend back bends before sleep for sleeping problems along with forward bends? Yes, both. Backwards and forward bends. But like I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, forward bends are soothing. They help you to turn on your rest and digest system, your parasympathetic system, nervous system. So, yeah, if you have sleeping problems, that might be very helpful. Also, not to eat too much before you go to bed. So, not eating after 7 o'clock in the evening, for example, that also helps. So, all the energy can be taken up by the body instead of that all the energy goes to the digestion. That can sometimes also be the cause of sleeping problems. All the twists are helpful for the water energy because they squeeze the fascia in which the water meridians are. Teresa, yeah, well, contact me about this because that is something very specific. And then I need to have a little bit more information to be able to give you some tips on that. Okay, so your eyes become extremely sore and sensitive to light at night. Um, it might have to do also with the wood energy. So, depending in general what state you are in right now that causes this, that needs to be seen to be able to advise you well. So, Teresa, maybe write me and so that we can connect and that I can give you some more information on that. Well, thank you, Liana. Great. There's also so much to say about this. And also remember, it's never the same for everyone. So, what I given you now are some general things that can help to bring the water energy in balance. But, like with the specific questions on specific ailments, that is either something that you need to discuss with your Chinese medicine doctor or acupuncturist, and otherwise on one to be able to give you the right advice what to do or to try out actually, and then we have to experiment to see how that would go. So I hope you found this very useful. Oh, contact me with my website is yogatreat.eu, but also my email is also on the Eckhart Yoga Academy and also Eckhart Yoga. So my email is Jose at yoga treat, not retreat, but treat EU. I have to go as well. I hope this was useful for everyone. And if you have any more questions, just leave comments below the video or connect with me, and then I will try to answer. Yes, the Yin Yoga and Meridian training is online. But you will all get emails after this webinar in which all the information is written down as well. I can understand that you don't remember it just by saying it. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining and your questions and the interaction. I really love it. Namaste. You're welcome. Okay, I've got to go. My kids are coming home. So see you next time, hopefully. Bye.